It may be the first instance in the history of the Catholic Church in India that the body of a priest was donated to a medical college for the purpose of medical training as per the will written and got registered by the priest. The final act of Swami Sadanand, making available his body for the training of medical students, was the culmination of a life fully dedicated to bring peace and joy in the lives of thousands of living gods through his outstanding compassion, passion for justice, a reverence for nature, and union with God in Jesus Christ.
दीपक जो जल रहा था प्रभु की पावन वेदी पर, जलते जलते मिट गया है वो जग ज्योति में समा गया है। दीपक जो जल रहा था प्रभु की पावन वेदी पर, जलते जलते मिट गया है वो जग ज्योति में समा गया है।
Swami Sadanand has become a synonym for compassion and love for all those who have met him at least once in life. Facilitating reconciliation among the warring groups and estranged family members was the most important mission of Swamiji for the last 30 years. The divine power that emanated from him had the capacity to melt many stony hearts. Swami Sadanand played a crucial role in getting on parole for Mr. Samanta Singh, the main convict in Sister Rani Maria murder case, and bringing about reconciliation between Samanta Singh and the family members of Sister Rani Maria. He was instrumental in bringing about peace and harmony in thousands of families through his mediation for settling disputes and quarrels. Once he was asked to mediate between two warring groups regarding the right to perform puja in a Hindu temple in Narsimpur district of Madhya Pradesh. The civil authorities later honored him with the award of communal harmony for his outstanding contribution in bringing about harmony among the followers of different communities. He had visited all central and district jails in Madhya Pradesh with the message of God's forgiveness and the need to forgive one another. Swamiji said, "Miracles happen in front of our very eyes as hardcore criminals melt like wax. My tool in all reconciliatory attempts is prayer, penance and fasting." Swamiji was a specialist in herbal medicines and indigenous methods of healing. Medicines given by Swamiji with lot of love and affection worked miracles in thousands. Many could feel the divine touch through the touch of Swamiji. The poor were the main beneficiaries of Swamiji's healing ministry. Large number of people had approached Swamiji for psychological and spiritual healing, and Swami could make time for anyone who approached him. He never took any remuneration for his healing services. When some friends suggested keeping a donation box, Swamiji retorted Jesus had no donation box. Like Jesus of Nazareth, Swami was available 24 hours at the service of people. "I have no time" was not in the dictionary of Swami Sadanand. He made himself available for finding water sources, spiritual guidance, taking classes, etc. He used to travel hundreds of kilometers even during the scorching summer to make available his services, and that too by making use of the cheapest common transport. When death embraced him on 25th April 2016, he had already traveled about 700 kilometers from his residence in Chindwara to a convent in Sendua in Kargon district, Madhya Pradesh. Often he traveled in general compartment to express his solidarity with the teeming millions of poor people of our country. When Swami came to know that someone was in trouble, he immediately rushed to the spot. He never waited for an invitation or an instruction. Swami had a friendship with a good number of officers in various government departments. He generously made use of his friendship and influence to help the people in trouble. Above all, his presence itself had a soothing effect on the persons who were in trouble. Swami Sadanand strongly believed that God is not limited to the scriptures or rituals of any particular religion. God is present beyond all religions and rituals in every human being and in the nature. As a student studying in Ranchi in the 1970s, he had personally met Mother Teresa and asked her a question: "Have you seen God?" Mother Teresa replied, "Now I see God here and in you." He could rush to help anyone in difficulty because he could see God in every human being. With the prophetic zeal and the passion of Jesus Christ, Swami fought against injustice and exploitation both within the church and the society. He could challenge anyone with the courage of John the Baptist. The weapons he used to fight against injustice were non-violence and satyagraha. Jesus and Mahatma Gandhi were his role models in confronting unjust situations. There are instances when he resorted to fasting continuously for weeks. His fight against injustice never created an iota of hatred or ill feeling in him against the persons who were responsible for causing injustice. Swami Sadanand fought against systematic injustice too. While he was working in Tada village in Sagar district, he confronted the high caste, those who were practicing untouchability and discriminating against the Dalits. He started the practice of growing beard and hair at Tada as a protest because the village barbers were refusing to cut the hair and shave the beard of Dalits. The reaction of the high caste against organizing the Dalits for justice and equality was very damaging. Twice his house was set on fire. Twice he was physically attacked, and 2 attempts were made to take his life. But that did not deter him from pursuing his cause for justice and human dignity. The spirituality of Swamiji was found on the firm faith that God is present in human beings and in the nature. For him, the whole creation is an expression of God. He could see and experience God in the air, wind, water, earth, fire, animals, birds, fish, flora and fauna. The reason for him to become a vegetarian and not to use slippers is his reverence for nature. I experience a pride as I walk barefoot on this soil, said Swamiji proudly. Swamiji had great appreciation for the monumental encyclical of Pope Francis, Laudato Si. Swami Sadanand had strongly believed that the divine power was within him and he could use this power to help people as Jesus did. The means adopted by Swamiji to live in the divine presence was daily contemplation without fail. He used to wake up at 3:30 a.m. and spend the morning time Brahma Muhurta for meditation and practice of yoga. For him, the most powerful person in the world is the one who has overcome his wants and desires. Swamiji adopted an austere life primarily to energize himself and enhance his soft power. Eating only once a day, sleeping less than 5 hours a day, wearing only bare minimum dress even in the biting cold, not using slippers even when the mercury was touching up 50 degrees Celsius were some of the ascetic practices Swamiji adopted with joy. Another objective of an austere life and undertaking certain strange practices was to experience the situation of the poorest of the poor in the world. He had undertaken experiments like begging, living with construction workers for a few months, working as construction laborers, and wandering like mendicant for about a year. Swamiji has summarized the message of his life in the following words.
Sarva Srishti Mangalam Tava Mangalam Sarvam Tavishtadanam Tava Sanithyam Sarvam Samarpidam Sada Tava Padam Sarveshvara Tava Chittam Mama Chittam.
The well-being of all creatures is the joy of God. Everything in the universe is the gift of God, proclaiming His presence. Everything I offer at your feet at every moment. Oh my God, your will is my will. The body of Swami Sadanand has left us.
विदा ले रहा हूँ है बलिवेदी असीमोपहारों की प्रभु वेदी अर्पण करने तुझ पर बलिदान अब से यहाँ मैं नहीं आऊंगा.
The legacy of his honest and authentic life, his ever smiling face, emitting divine grace, his unparalleled compassion, his prophetic zeal for justice, his unlimited availability without counting the cost, his extraordinary courage, and his capacity to live in the divine presence always will continue to inspire us and the coming generations.